Welcome to Sexual Radio.
And this is the sports podcast.
Today we'll be discussing the Bahrain GP
Yep.
and the UFC Fight Night. What was that?
That was Machida versus Rockhold. Numbers do not matter when it comes to UFC fight nights.
We've been through this.
Yeah.
So many fight nights now.
So to start off, with
Bahrain GP happened.
Yeah, and it went as expected for Mercedes up till the qualifying. Well, I'd say.
Well, the Mercedes were actually. Nico Rosberg was behind on qualifying. He was like on third position. Sebastian Vettel was on second.
And
Hamilton obviously
won. Always.
Always? No, not always. Last season, this time, Rosberg was winning, dude. Last season, this time, Rosberg was in Lewis Hamilton's mind. This season, not so much. Gotta tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, I've got hay fever, so I'll be blowing my nose, wiping my teary eyes, crying for Rosberg, I suppose.
Well, he looked like he was gonna cry anyways, like post the race. But anyways, we're jumping ahead of ourselves there. Let's start off with talking about, well, something that's on everybody's mind. The two Mercedes and their brakes. The brakes that possibly cost Nico Rosberg the third.
And would have cost Lewis Hamilton
the first. He won by the shortest margin.
Because Kimi Raikkonen had his number. If there were 3 more laps, those brakes wouldn't have lasted. But you gotta say this for Hamilton, like Rosberg, when his brakes were failing, he was panicking and everything. Hamilton on the post-race video said that he just switched it off, switched it on, and he was good to go. He had the race.
But you can also say this, that Rosberg was constantly fighting the race, whereas Hamilton had a very comfortable lead when his brakes went up.
No, he had 6 seconds. Just 6 seconds with the tires going off, with Kimi Raikkonen on fresher set of tires. I don't care what Hamilton says, what he believes on those fresher set of tires. When the Iceman is on, the Iceman is on.
The Iceman was on, and the Iceman was on point.
Let's talk about his race, man. Because Kimi Raikkonen starts up at what? He was starting
up at 4th.
He started up at 4th, finishes at 2nd.
Hold on, we can just confirm that for you. Anyways, carry on.
He finishes at 2nd. The difference was that medium stint on the medium compound tires, those prime tires with the white rings. He was faster against everybody on the softer tires, on every tire. Pastor Maldonado showed that the prime tires were on, and Kimi Raikkonen just took it from there. And it's got to be said, because the whole Ferrari team was looking at Vettel's race, and just Kimi and his race engineer were just looking at his race.
I'll tell you this honestly, when I was watching the race, I was looking at Vettel's race. I wasn't thinking about Kimi's race until, well, that happened. To be honest, he just blew up, came straight up, and next thing you knew, the guy was in 2nd.
Yeah, well, Kimi Raikkonen, basically his Bahrain has been good for him. It's always been good for him, but this is his podium. This is his podium in what, 38 races or something like. He's
this even I've read that when he was driving the Lotus, he was very comfortable at Bahrain. Always been comfortable with Bahrain.
But 38 races, I'm not very sure, but it's close to that number as a dry spell, and coming back and looking like that, threatening. And Ferrari had said this before the season even began, that they believe that Kimi Raikkonen, if he wanted the job, he would have to race. This was make it or break it for a season for him. And 2 fourths, now a 2nd, 2 4th positions. And now
throughout the season, he's looked beautiful.
He's on the
the Australian GP, down to now the Bahrain GP, where he was on 2nd. This is truly amazing.
But he's closing in on his teammate in point position. It's where did he put that? Yeah, well, he's closing in on his teammate on the point position, and he's coming up really good. Look at this.
He's at 42 points, whereas Vettel is at 65 points, but he's really closing in quick because they're 3rd and 4th, right there, right above him.
And look at Lewis Hamilton. He doesn't look ruffled at all.
93 points. Iceman.
Yeah, and now he's got his teammate covered. His teammate would have to win a race, and Lewis Hamilton would have to lose a race for them to actually be close enough for him to make Lewis jittery.
I don't see that happening though. I do not see Hamilton fumbling.
With those brakes, like Rosberg went off the track with those brakes. If Lewis heats up his brakes and goes into a wall, then.
But he always does this, even in the last race. He doesn't push the car that hard. That's what Toto Wolff also said. The brakes go out, if you push the car too hard, they heat up and the discs break down. And that's got something to do with the new tires that are getting smaller and smaller, which are making the discs smaller and smaller.
No, they actually are reducing the disc size because they're conserving on the weight. That's why the discs,
they're breaking down.
The brakes are breaking down.
Yeah.
That brake-by-wire system. I have to talk about Vettel. Uncharacteristic of him. 3 times he went off the track. He even apologized post-race for his performance to his engineers, to his team. He said that I was pushing too hard.
And maybe again, could it be the brakes?
No, it was Vettel.
It was just Vettel.
Yeah, he was trying.
He wasn't on point today.
No, he was pushing too hard. He was trying too hard to pass Rosberg. He was trying too hard to keep Rosberg behind, and he was making unforced errors.
Yeah, and which led him to pit at that time, and then finally lose up to land up right behind Bottas, who he just couldn't pass. And got to talk about Bottas at this point. He was beautiful in this race.
Wait a minute, I just got to bring you back to Vettel. There is a scene in the race, in the Bahrain GP, where Lewis Hamilton is just coming out of the pits. Lewis Hamilton thought he had both Sebastian Vettel and Nico Rosberg covered. And Vettel is just closing down on him. And Rosberg is right behind Vettel. And Vettel's whole attention is on Lewis Hamilton. And Rosberg passes Vettel. And sparks flying, everything.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was one of the most amazing scenes and one of the most telling scenes of the race, where Vettel was single-mindedly focused on Lewis Hamilton.
And he didn't pay attention to Rosberg closing in on him from behind.
Yeah, and that, I think, cost him the race.
Yeah, actions like those, because as you told me that he
apologized. And then he got stuck behind Valtteri Bottas. Valtteri Bottas. What were you going to say about Valtteri Bottas?
First of all, beautiful driving. When I saw him block Vettel every time Vettel tried to pass, because there wasn't much distance between these two for a while, until Vettel finally had to let go and back off. But his driving was purely amazing. I mean, I haven't noticed it in the past, maybe not as deeply as I should have, but Bottas blocking Vettel throughout the entire stretch when Vettel was attacking in his move.
I'll tell you why you haven't seen the best of Bottas. Because at the start of the season, he had that back injury.
Yeah.
Okay, now think about this. In a race car where you have to actually lay down almost all the time, and he had that back injury, and I think this is the race. He was finally uninjured, he was finally at his full potential, and he could carry it on.
So you're saying he completely healed and decided to push forward, and hallelujah, Valtteri Bottas is finishing.
Yeah, and you started watching F1.
Did he finish at 5th or 4th?
I think he finished at 4th.
Yeah, 4th.
And pushing
Vettel down to 5th, which was okay.
So what was it like? It was Lewis Hamilton, Kimi Raikkonen,
Nico Rosberg, Valtteri Bottas, Sebastian Vettel, and then I think it was Daniel. I think it was Ricciardo at 6th. After which there was Checo at 7th. Perez.
I think Checo was 8th.
Checo was 8th. Just give us a minute, please.
Wait, I'll tell you. It was Roman Grosjean at 7th.
Yeah, Roman Grosjean at 7th, right behind Ricciardo, and behind him there was Checo at 8th.
Sergio Perez for Force India. Yeah. Good point finish by Force India. We'll come to that. Danny Kvyat and then Felipe Massa. Felipe Massa, who started the race at the start, keeping Bottas behind him, and he had a false start. when the cars actually went out, his car did not start. And that was kind of strange because it went into anti-stall and then they had to pull him into the pit, start his car there. For a while, Ted Kravitz for Sky FM, where you could hear he was tweeting out that they don't know whether he would even be able to go. And at that time, it didn't look good for Massa. And coming back and starting right at the back of the grid, then having to pass those Saubers and Force Indias, that's not good, man. You can
especially on a day when the Force Indias surprise everybody.
You can go to McLaren's at this stage. You can go to the Manor team, but Force Indias and Saubers, I don't think so.
Well, you know, honestly, comparing a Williams to the new Hondas and to the Marussias is kind of rude to the Hondas and the Marussias. I mean, he would pass them.
No, those are Williams with Mercedes engine. That is something different. But Force India was surprisingly fast this race.
Everybody was talking about it. The commentators were talking about it. The cars were on point. They were pushing forward. They were looking really good. I think you bear a grudge against what happened to Hulk, right?
No, Hulkenberg in his qualifying used all 3 sets of his soft compound tires. Okay, so it was understandable that Hulk wouldn't have the traction under it. On the other hand, Sergio Perez had a wonderful 2-stop strategy, the same as Fernando Alonso. Fernando Alonso finishes 11th for McLaren. That's actually wonderful.
That's actually, yeah, that's pretty good for the McLarens.
They were talking about, we're going to be racing these back markers, not back markers for them, racing cars.
Racing the Marussias possibly.
Obviously they would be racing Marussias, but finishing ahead of Marussias is not a big deal for McLaren.
However, finishing at 11th? That is a really big deal.
But Button did not start. Button did not start the race. They had an ERS failure at qualifying. After qualifying, they had an ERS failure and they just parked the car. They didn't let Button race, which was
they need to figure out that car.
It was the 100th race for Jenson Button for McLaren.
That's sad.
Yeah, it's gonna come in Spain. Monaco GP,
which is gonna be entertaining.
Really. But it's gonna be bad for Force Indias. Even Checo Perez said it's gonna be bad for Force India because they don't see. They have the Spec B car is coming on in. I think after this race, Barcelona. This Spec B car will be available to them in Barcelona, and they are supposed to be the biggest movers there. But till now, Spain doesn't look good for them.
Why do you say that is?
Because they don't. All other cars, all other teams are bringing in updates after updates. The Sports India expects their update in the next race.
So they're basically struggling. Even if they bring out the Spec B car, they don't have the updates to ride with it.
No, the Spec B car will be available only for the. Once European season starts, Europe is a very different race. Has very different racetrack. They got historical racetrack. Monaco cars are right behind each other usually, and. Overtaking is like
it's a very slim track. It's city roads, right?
Yeah, and there's a tunnel. Yeah, and usually Force India, because of their more maneuverability, have been able to pass in Monaco.
For the geeks out there, Monaco is the same track that Iron Man and in Iron Man 2, Tony Stark had the face-off when he was riding their fun car.
That was part of the track.
Yeah, that was part of the track.
Basically, it was an easier part of the track.
Just as a reference. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so. Usually when they're racing with these tight turns with low speeds, Force India has been able to get ahead. But without the Spec B car, without the same traction, without the same...
But look at the surprising
same speed. No, but you have to see, where do they speed? In the tunnel? In the Monaco GP, they speed in the tunnel. It's like tight, tunnel. Straight, tight, straight, tight, tunnel. Okay.
So right now they've got straight line speed, but you're saying they're turning.
They do not have that straight line speed.
They don't have the straight line speed to work with the other contenders.
They don't have the straight line speed. They don't have the maneuverability. They don't, but they got stability. They got stability. Did you
The
see?
cars don't fail. Let's face it.
No, that is yeah, that's there too. But they got stability, like you know. Force India has had a lot of problems because of their aerodynamics. They've not got the same testing. They've not got the same level of wind tunnel access. That's where the Spec B car will come in. But in Bahrain, with those wind shears which was throwing past Maldonado and everybody off track, Force India did not go off.
They stayed on point, they stayed on track. But then you go again that we're still not that fast, you're saying. I'm forcing the I say we, but regardless, forcing
compared to solo Ferraris, Felipe Nasser had the straight line speed. Okay, he was passing everybody. He was involved in the race. Sergio Perez does not have the straight line speed. He had strategy. I'm sorry, he had the strategy. He was on the basic two-stop strategy. He could make it work. Give him the same strategy as Felipe Nasser or Marcus Ericsson, he wouldn't have done well. Nico Hülkenberg didn't do well.
Well, as you said, he'd use up all his soft compound tires. However, talking about strategy...
So, again, the car is not that forgiving on the tires. And with those tight turns and those discs heating up...
just as a question, how is Monaco and those tight turns gonna affect the discs? I mean, what do we see there? Because we're seeing the Mercedes losing their discs even in this track by pushing them too hard.
But it's colder. It's colder. Their Mercedes has always.
How much would that vary? If they're having to push their car so hard, it would naturally heat up to a certain point.
That's the thing. But Mercedes are working on the brakes. They are. Toto Wolff came out and said, yes, we have to work on the brakes because Mercedes believe they cost Nico Rosberg his race.
Well, they did.
Yes, they did.
And that is not a false belief. But if you look into it, 3 weeks, would they be able to pull it off? Work on the brakes, maybe?
3 weeks, man. It's 3 weeks
for
an F1 team.
True that. Talking about strategies, as I was saying earlier, I'd like to know what Lotus thinks of Pastor Maldonado's strategies. And I'd like to know what you think of Pastor Maldonado's strategies.
What strategy?
Why does he even race?
No, Lotus believe Pastor Maldonado would have finished 7th. They came after the race. It was
he did look good in the middle.
Yeah, the team actually said they believe that Pastor Maldonado would have finished 7th. He did not. Why? Because when he came into the pit, his brakes were heating up and everything. But that's because he's pushing his car that much. It's smoking out, and then he put his car into anti-stop. It's a driver fault. He put his car into anti-stop. It was nobody else's fault. No car fault, nothing.
That's where I question the point of why he still races.
He actually finished. You have to give it up to him. He finished the race this time. He came in 15, but he finished the race.
But he's a danger.
It is better than last time where he did not even finish the race. So
but he's a danger out there. He's a danger on track.
No, who is he a danger to? Himself. That's it. Otherwise, the FIA would have stopped him. They would have stopped him from racing. He's a danger only to himself. Roman Grosjean, 2 years back, was a danger to everybody. Where Fernando Alonso was saying that I don't want to race with this guy because he was banging into cars. He was bumping into everybody. So he was a danger then. Roman Grosjean was a danger. Pastor Maldonado, he breaks down. He does stupid stuff.
He overshoots pit lanes.
Yeah, he's not a danger to anybody but himself. Or Lotus.
Well, what do you have to say about the Marussias who still didn't finish?
Marussia's finished, man.
They did?
Yeah, Roberto Merri and Will Stevens were actually racing in the back. They were when Lewis was going past them. They both were going back and forth. They like racing. The drivers like racing. Now it's up to Marussia to give them the cars with their updates. And hopefully in Europe, it's a 3-week break, and they've done pretty well. They finished races, so they would most probably get some sponsors and some more tags on their cars, some more liveries, some more updates, hopefully.
Do you think they come up the ladder?
I hope they do. It's good for F1 if new teams constantly come up. I saw something like Mana tweeting out. They had a nice roundtable meeting of all the owners. It was quite refreshing to see. Where owners are very introverted and in the pit box. They were sitting out, they were chilling, and they were talking about stuff. So it was quite refreshing to see from Formula One. Usually owners are like with their drivers on the side, like Arriva Bene after the race of Ferrari.
Yeah.
He had Kimi and Vettel right here, and they were all going whatever.
Well, it's an extremely competitive sport, and speaking of new teams who perform very well, we were particularly disappointed to see the Renault power units failing on the Toro Rossos. I mean,
no, actually, this is a misconception. A lot of people have. The Toro Rossos did not have engine failures this time.
Well, what happened?
Okay, for Carlos Sainz, he had a wheel nut problem. The pit crew screwed up his wheel nut. Most probably did not screw it in, and he had to stop for the back wheel. On Max Verstappen, he had an electrical failure.
An electrical failure?
Yes.
Nothing to do with the power unit?
No, nothing to do with the power.
So, well, first of all, seriously sad for Carlos Sainz. It's really sad, when something like this happens. Because, I'm pretty sure that...
No, I was actually happy with that. They took points away from a Force India last time, so let them go.
But I have this to say about that. They're awesome. Yeah. They're amazing. They make the race seriously fun to watch. And to be honest,
and Max Verstappen is always, outbreaking everybody, going in there.
That's
it's exciting, yeah.
But
Carlos Sainz, I'm not a Carlos Sainz fan. I'm not a Carlos Sainz fan because I don't see anything, out there. I don't see aggressiveness from him. I like to see that in young drivers. For me, Carlos Sainz, even with the wheel nut thing happened when he was beaching the car before that, it was like, did we miss anything from him?
I don't know, man, but he would have shook up the points ladder. He would have surely been in the top 10, I feel.
I think, yeah, Carlos Sainz would be on top.
Yeah, so he would have shook up the points ladder. That would have been an interesting thing to see. I mean, where they landed up. But speaking of the Renault power units where they actually did fail, we saw Ricciardo go across the line with a massive blow up.
It just blew up on the right time, just off the line.
Yeah.
He finishes 6th and boom!
Right before he finished, the car just blew out. You see this huge cloud of smoke.
Well, that's because it's going out like boom, 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 and it just goes past the line like boom, and
then it stops just outside the entrance.
That's because the car immediately goes into an anti-stall and the wheels lock up and it goes zeek and stops there. Just in time. It's that is not actually as good as what it seems right now, because Ricciardo has gone through 3 engines, 3 power units.
How many did you say were allowed?
4.
Oh crap.
Yeah, actually he has had 4 blow-ups. With one they can, you mix and match the parts and make it. So he's gone through 3 power units. If they cannot, and they'll bring in that 4th, he will be on his last unit. If that blows up, he's gone.
You say he won't race again?
No, they will have to get more engines and take penalties. 5 grid positions as penalties after every qualifying.
Whoa, think about it. Already their cars, when they push their cars too hard, their power unit blows out. If they have to take an extra unit and then have to perform that much better in the qualifiers, so there is chance of losing another unit right there. And then they land up 5 grid positions.
This is a vicious circle. This is a vicious circle.
Holy shit, Renault needs to figure this stuff out, man. I mean,
when Christian Horner does not look pleased, he does not look pleased for a reason.
This is a very, very solid reason, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe they can get 2 more, basically they'll have a new unit. And they can mix and match and get another unit working, sort of. But they really can't push it. They really can't push it because it's going to go bust It will always go bust because it's an inner power unit. We've seen it with every
We've seen it fail on Toro Rossos, we've seen it fail on
Danny
Red
Kvyat's
Bulls.
car.
Yeah, I mean, it's happened in the past and it is very, very likely to happen again. I don't think they've figured it out already. I mean, maybe by the end of the season they have something, but this season don't look good for Red Bull.
Yeah.
It is a lucky shot that they had this time, to be honest.
Yeah. Sauber's
looking good.
Yeah, but they were hard on the tires, weren't they? They were really hard on the tires. And who had that 5-second penalty? It was Pastor Maldonado again, I think.
Yeah.
He had that 5-second penalty because he was out of grid position. Does this guy ever stop doing stuff which is stupid?
I think he needs to calm down, figure his shit out, attend a couple of meetings.
It was something out of the Michael Schumacher days. You know, the Michael Schumacher ran into somebody else's back, and they were talking about this on the commentary coverage. It's that rule. We all forgot that rule even existed, and Pastor Maldonado reminds us.
Well, it's at least it's good, you know, that this way I learn more in a single season. Thank you, Pastor Maldonado. You teaching me about it.
Yeah. Okay, so let's do a roundup.
Yep.
Okay, Lewis obviously wins the race. Let's just go into the standings straight off. What is happening right now?
So Lewis Hamilton is definitely on top as far as standings are concerned with 93 points after this race. Nico Rosberg came in third in this race and has 66 points. Sebastian Vettel, as we know, came in 5th in this race and has 65 points. Look, he's going to skip this one because of his nose, I guess. So, Kimi Raikkonen...
You're doing a good enough job. I'm just letting you do it.
Well, okay. Kimi Raikkonen came in 2nd, surprising everybody. That close to Lewis Hamilton, just 4 seconds behind. And now
he's going to race Vettel in the next race.
He's going to race Vettel. He totally is. I think he stands a chance of racing Rosberg all over again.
I love the radio message where Kimi Raikkonen goes like, I am faster than him. I'm faster than him. I'm gonna pass him. I will pass him. He was not asking permission. If I'm faster than him, I will pass him.
Yeah, he pretty much said that. I mean, short of saying I am passing him right now, again after that.
Well, they pulled Vettel into the pits after that, so we got to see that.
Yeah, he landed up 5th. So, Kimi Raikkonen came in 2nd, 4 seconds behind Lewis Hamilton, and I think he stands a chance of racing Rosberg again, and he has 42 points. Now, after that, we have Bottas.
Okay, Felipe Massa, who's currently on the 5th at the driver standing.
He came in 10th.
Yes, 10th. He finished with only 1 point, and which is really sad because he could have been racing the Ferraris, but unfortunately Williams did not start. Valtteri Bottas had a really good race, and he's 6th in the driver standings.
But he came 4th in this race.
Yes.
Sorry, 4th, right?
Yes.
4th, blocking Vettel.
Yes. And Daniel Ricciardo is in the 7th. Good for him, he finished 6th. Felipe Nasser for the Saubers. The Saubers did not finish in points, but Felipe Nasser still holds the 8th position. He's got that stranglehold on that. Roman Grosjean did really well. And
he has 12 points right now, and he came in 6th in this race.
Yeah, Roman Grosjean enters the top 10, you know.
Yeah, he's been in the top 10, and I think, you know what I see happening later on? I see the Saubers coming up.
I think
Lotus coming up.
Lotus has said that it is the 4th fastest team in this.
Well, if Pastor Maldonado figures his stuff out, maybe I see him coming up, but Roman Grosjean is most definitely going to rise up.
They're going to fight Williams if things like this keep going on.
That's going to be very, very entertaining.
And Nico Hülkenberg
is at 10th.
But he did not finish in points. He finished 13th.
He finished 13th in the points. Right now he has 6 points.
Yeah, he's at this thing. That finishes the top 10 with Sergio Perez actually coming into points this race.
And he has 5 points.
Bring in 4 points. He's on a total of 5 points, 1 from Australia.
We're really sad to see Verstappen and Sainz, they're 11th and 12th on the driver standings, but really sad to see what happened to them in this race. I hope things work out for them later because, the Toro Rossos have had a better time with the Renault Power units than the Red Bulls have. And I see things possibly working out in the good for them later.
Yeah, well, and constructor Mercedes top the charts as usual. Ferrari is at number 2, but at More than
very
enough.
close to each other. I mean, Mercedes are 159.
No, yeah, not at all close, man. This is not at all close. What's going to be? Let's hope they're closer for all of us, because in Europe they're going to have back-to-back races. It's going to be a hyper-active season, and Ferraris.
But Europe is also going to have colder tracks, where you question the point that Mercedes are kind of faster on the colder tracks, and Ferraris not so much. So,
But Ferrari's also upgrading the car.
well, things are changing, things are evolving. So this should be closer. Right now, Mercedes is at
And
159.
plus, you never know about the weather. What's the weather like? What if a Mediterranean
thing,
gust comes into a Monaco? And the track temperature is more than something like 30 degrees, and you have those tight turns. It's going to be very hard for Mercedes to hold on to those positions.
I have a question, and this is possibly going to sound like a very nerdy question, but what about the Japanese track? Now, I've seen Rush about 5 times. So, is that track, first of all, is that track still used?
Yes.
And is that track still as dangerous?
No.
No, not anymore.
Look, if something like that happens.
Well, first of all, which track is this? What's the track called?
Suzuka.
Suzuka track, the Japanese track.
Yeah. Nicola raced on Suzuka. I don't know. Okay. Suzuka GP. The track is cold, and usually when it's raining like that, they don't let people race anymore.
Alright, that's good. Is it in the season?
Yes, obviously.
Towards the end of the season.
Let's see if the Japanese Grand Prix, should be there.
Yeah, it's right here.
Yeah.
Pointing at the screen. Right. wait. Should be about the end of the season, I think. Right? Maybe not. Well, regardless, yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
25th to 27th September. This is the.
I don't know why we're talking about
races.
Yeah, I don't know why we even talking about this right now. Okay,
Regardless.
we were doing the roundup. Constructors, Mercedes number 1 at 159. Ferrari needs to do a lot of catch up. They are around 52 points behind.
Yeah, they got 107 points.
Yeah, Williams at 61. Look at that point standings going down from there. Red Bull at 23. Sauber at 19. Lotus at 12, Toro Rosso at 12, Force India
At
1 step
11.
behind at 11, McLaren 0, Marussia 0.
Right, so I see this changing because I see first of all Red Bull's gonna drop, Williams gonna stay up.
Red Bull is, I believe Sauber is going to,
They're gonna pass Red Bull.
yeah.
I mean, they're pretty close. Red Bull's at 23 points, Sauber's at 19 points, so I think they pass.
And Lotus is also going to pass Red Bull. If things like this keep on, if
Yeah.
Pastor Maldonado stops doing weird stuff, Lotuses will pass Red Bull.
And the Toro Rossos are gonna come up.
Yeah.
That's gonna be really entertaining to watch.
And Force India, after their updates with the Spec B car, I wonder what's going to happen.
This ladder's gonna shake up.
It's not much, because Force India has been in points position for the first 4 races. With the first 4 races, everybody else been jittery too. Force India is never going to fight for the first 3 positions. They're going to fight for the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th positions. Okay, Force India will, with their new updates, is going to rattle up that position. With these 2 drivers. These 2 drivers are really good.
Nico Hülkenberg and Sergio Perez are truly awesome, and I can't wait to see them on the other tracks, especially the European tracks. Especially after their upgrades come in, because these guys make for really, really entertaining races. And
it's vice versa. Usually at the end of the season, Vijay Mallya pulls the plug on the funding and Force India slumps down. This is kind of like weird for them, because right now they should be in position, they should be fighting for major points, but this season it's kind of like a wavy thing going on. They'll have updates from the Toyota wind tunnel staff. They'll have the Spec B car. Then they'll have the other updates coming in. The aerodynamic front wings and all those. It's gonna be interesting. It's a different experience for them as a hashtag best fan, as they say.
hashtag best fan.
Yeah, that's what they call their fans, Force India fans. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Okay. They need a better PR agency. I think
They call
best
it-
fans kind of.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, carrying on. I think we're done with F1, right?
Right.
Yeah. So
So let's
UFC.
moving on to MMA. Phil Davis signs up with Bellator. If you don't know what we are talking about, I don't believe you. Let's talk about UFC.
yeah, let's talk about this. All right. So first of all, to talk about the biggest fight that happened recently, which was also the most surprising. Lyoto Machida went up against Luke Rockhold, and did he look bad? I mean, Luke Rockhold plastered him. He towered over.
Let's
him
give
from the
people,
beginning.
let's give people a little, story behind the action. Luke Rockhold is the former Strikeforce champion, which is a organization which has been bought by Ultimate Fighting Championship, the premier organization for mixed martial arts. Okay, he's a Strikeforce champion. He went against Lyoto Machida. Lyoto Machida, the former light heavyweight champion of UFC. And then it was a very, on paper, it was a very checkmate kind of fight because both these guys are really good. Both these guys are at their prime. Both these guys were the top 5 fighters in the world, and nobody knew how this was going to go. And now you can take it away.
Yeah. So Lyoto Machida, I'll give you a little more backdrop. Lyoto Machida is supposed to be a karate expert. This is the only person who has thrown the Karate Kid crane cake inside a cage. Luke Rockhold is amazing at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He is great at the ground game and has amazing striking. So when he says on paper this was supposed to be a checkmate, it was supposed to be a checkmate.
No, but you have to agree to this. Lyoto Machida also has a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu. Lyoto Machida has sumo background. He's thrown people around like this. He is surprisingly strong, and because of his karate, he shoots in and out. He's really fast with a lateral movement.
He's got really good range fighting too.
On the other hand, Luke Rockhold has got a weird kind of a movement because his brother is a professional surfer. He could have been a professional surfer, and he's got a very good base around under him, and that's what makes his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu awesome.
So when Luke Rockhold and Lyoto Machida faced off, we were all in for an epic fight. But what happened was truly surprising because Luke Rockhold, from the beginning of the match, towered over Lyoto Machida, got off great shots on Lyoto Machida, broke him down step by step, took him down, and dominated him on the ground for the first
disagree
round.
with that. Here's the thing. I will disagree with that. In the beginning of the match, I saw Lyoto Machida tagging Luke Rockhold. On the feet, I don't think Luke Rockhold had a chance against Lyoto Machida. However, after that slip or what was it?
It was a tag. It was a tag.
It was a takedown initially.
It was initially a takedown, but Luke Rockhold caught him with a punch, which got him on a back foot where he slipped and went down.
Yeah, okay. It was. No, you're talking about the end of the fight.
I'm talking about the first time Lyoto Machida went down because he slipped. He partially slipped and
it was
partially got hit. He was trying to
after that slip, Luke Rockhold had the base to keep Lyoto Machida down. He was the bigger fighter. He was the longer fighter. He was a more
he looked bigger than Lyoto
more
Machida.
rangier fighter, and he had that surfer kind of a grip to him on the floor. He's center of
wherever they scrambled, he landed up on top. Wherever Lyoto Machida tried to go out the back step, you had Luke Rockhold on his back.
But Lyoto Machida was fighting over there. He was fighting on the ground. He was not dominating. I wouldn't say he would be dominating.
But for how long? See, around.
No, because I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I disagree with you. Because if he didn't land that headshot, that elbow to the temple, what would have happened? They both would have gotten up, right? They both get up. They both stand on the feet. Now Luke Rockhold is back in Lyoto Machida's world. Try catching Lyoto Machida there. He's called the most elusive fighter in the world because of a reason.
Now, here's the thing. As we say, anything can happen in the fight, and you're saying if he wouldn't have gotten an elbow. But the fact is, he did get that elbow. He went from full guard to mount really quickly from where he landed up in the crucifix position, landed that elbow. He landed that elbow.
No, it was Luke Rockhold had his back when he landed that elbow, while Lyoto Machida was scrambling.
No, he landed a couple of elbows on top first.
Those are okay, but that elbow which staggered him.
The one where he was on his back.
Yeah, because he was flattened out. Even his head didn't have any position to move. That's what scrambles you. That elbow staggered him.
But his point, he was already flattened out.
So he was constantly fighting. Remember, he was flattened out for a reason because he gave out his back because he was trying to slip out of the back door.
Here's where I would challenge you on that. He was flattened out, alright, he was trying to slip out the back door, but here's the thing, Luke Rockhold wanted him to be flattened out. Luke Rockhold saw that position, Luke Rockhold capitalized on that position. So you can't really say that, you know...
Yeah, this exchange, but I would say that, as you said, he was dominated.
Post that point, and that was around 2.5 minutes into the first round.
No, that was at the end of the first round.
2.5 minutes into the first round when he went on the ground, they started scrambling, and then it landed up. He landed the
Yeah, so it was at the end of the first round, and he did not look good while going back to his corner. So
actually, it was arguable that post that.
You know what? This is really going nowhere. Yeah. Let me tell you something, people. We are MMA fans, and this usually happens quite a lot, and we get upset.
Disagreements are extremely common among fight fans.
Yeah.
Regardless,
this would end up in a barroom brawl on a normal day.
But post that point, I think we both would agree. Lyoto Machida came out in the second round not looking good, possibly looking knocked out already, and Luke Rockhold finished it.
Yeah, but obviously after that, Machida looked wobbly. He didn't look like himself. He was not even moving right. He was staggering and moving.
He completely shut down, and when Luke Rockhold sinked in the choke.
No, he was not shut down. He was not even shut down. He had given up by that time. His legs were wobbly. While he was even on the stand-up, his legs were wobbly. They were like he was on jelly legs. He did not have his base right, and Luke Rockhold again took him down and finished him by a rear naked choke, and he did not even fight that choke. Even Joe Rogan commented on that fact that he did not even fight that choke. He had both his hands like this.
He was just waiting. This is what Joe Rogan said, by the way. I'm quoting him. Sorry, Joe. So he said that he was just waiting for a time when it would be right to tap out.
It would be appropriate.
It would be appropriate to tap out. But that was truly a very, very entertaining fight. Anyway,
no, it wasn't. It was
I enjoyed it because look, first of all, as a Lyoto Machida fan, I went into that fight as
you know who's smiling right now? Who's really smiling right now? Michael Bisping. Michael Bisping lost to Luke Rockhold when Luke Rockhold was ranked 7th. And Michael Bisping is really smiling right now. If people who don't know, Michael Bisping is one of the top 10 fighters in the world. He's always underranked.
The ranking people hate him, I think.
No, I think the journalists hate him because he's British, he's loudmouth, he's obnoxious, he's arrogant, he's amazing.
The last fight we saw him in, he landed a 22 hit combo.
20 hit combo on Kang Lee. The last fight we saw him, he lost to Luke Rockhold.
Yeah, well, I didn't see that fight.
Yeah, and now he's going to fight in the next fight card. We're going to come to that. Before that, we are going to talk about Cub Swanson versus Max Holloway.
Now, actually, truly speaking, that was the entertaining fight.
In the whole card, this fight was supposed to be the foregone conclusion. Cub Swanson, who's coming after fighting a former champion out of a title contention. He was ranked number 2 in the world, and Frankie Edgar was ranked number 3 or something. Yeah. So they were going to they fought it out, and Frankie Edgar dominated Cub Swanson. But that was Frankie Edgar. He's the former champion of the world.
Yeah, you're talking about the guy who went into 5 title fights back to back.
Yes.
So yeah.
He was a former champion.
He has this. Frankie Edgar does this amazing thing where he comes in, comes out, and he keeps striking, and he has the perfect. He's got accuracy. He's got punches and bunches. He's a great boxer, and he's got a chin that can last for 5 rounds back to back, regardless. So let's say Cub Swanson was in for a tough fight and he lost. That's okay. This fight, however, Cub Swanson versus Max Holloway.
Sorry.
That was some amazing performance by Cub Swanson. I mean,
Yeah, okay, here's the thing, like, amazing performance with Cub
sorry, Max Holloway. By Max Holloway, dude. I mean, he looked epic. He went
Look,
in.
it was supposed to be something like a tune-up fight for Cub Swanson. Max Holloway did not get that memo. Max Holloway came up and he wanted that fight. Max Holloway was considered like a tune-up fight because he lost to Conor McGregor. But now we know why he lost to Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor is on a league of his own.
As he was saying, Max Holloway was basic. You can say it right.
He called Dustin Poirier basic.
And he
said basic. He said everybody's so basic.
Yeah,
that's Conor McGregor, the guy who's going to fight for the championship in this division. Max Holloway comes in. The reach is the same, but he fights taller. He cuts angle. He's got constant movement, and
he looked sharp. He looked on point. He was constantly striking Cub Swanson. Cub Swanson was trying to get a few shots off back, and he could, but Cub Swanson just couldn't find Max Holloway, and Max Holloway was,
he cut corners. There was lateral movement. He was cutting corners. He was punching, and Cub Swanson always relies on his boxing a little too much. It's always been there, but that boxing has got him a whole lot of highlight reel finishes with people going boom and people going all down, knocked out, bad. This time, he couldn't find Max Holloway. Max Holloway was missing.
He was faster than Cub Swanson. He fought longer than Cub Swanson.
And those knees to the body,
the flying knee, it was coming like, okay, he's going to land up about 5 or 6 strikes, and then Holloway, no way, there's going to be a flying knee.
He was mixing everything together. It was like head shots, body shots, knee, head kick, leg kick, knee. Cub Swanson didn't know what hit him.
Yeah, and he finally tapped out to a beautiful guillotine.
Yeah, that guillotine was like really bad.
You saw Cub Swanson. Everybody was saying he's gonna tap, and even when
his head was cranked to the side.
I put up a shot of it. But
yeah, he was all red. It looked really bad, and Max Holloway took the win.
Yeah, and even when Cub Swanson tapped, it looked like something that he was doing to save his life at the last stretch.
No, he was going out. Nobody would be in danger.
No, nobody would be in danger, but that's how bad it looked, to be honest.
Nobody was in danger. Nobody was.
I have an imaginative mind.
Yeah.
All right.
There was a ref over there.
There was a ref over there.
Yeah. And Cub Swanson was going out. He was going to pass out. So he knew it. He knew that he had to tap. He was in pain, man.
He was in a bad place. Really bad place.
The next UFC is going to be a big deal. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Formula 1 is not going to return for 3 weeks. But here's the thing. Mixed martial arts is coming up with some major fights. Yeah. UFC is coming up with UFC 186.
A numbered event. And here's why we love numbered events.
Because they have championships.
They have multiple of them on the line at some times.
They usually have a championship or a major
contention battle,
major
points battle,
super fight or something.
Yeah.
Okay, UFC 186 is going to happen on April 25th, 2015. It is going to feature the flyweight title match between Demetrius Johnson versus Kyoji Horiguchi. I love Kyoji Horiguchi.
Okay, tell me a little more about Kyoji Horiguchi.
Demetrius Johnson is really fast. It's really fast.
True.
He wears
them Xbox shorts and runs around the cage super fast like a pinball.
Yeah. Okay, and he usually he lands a flurry to knock people out.
Yeah.
Here's what Kyoji Horiguchi does. He scrambles, he lands one shot, people are out.
He's a one-shot knockout machine.
Yeah, and he's Japanese. He's fast, he does that, he cuts angles.
And he's on point, purely accurate.
He's very accurate, he's young. That's the problem. He's too young, he's inexperienced. Coming to fight somebody like Demetrius Johnson, Mighty Mouse, who's going to run around, who's going to cut corners, who's who's been there, done that, who's knocked out people.
Here's the thing about Mighty Mouse. This kid, as we said, is not just fast. He lands punches and bunches. He has great combinations, and it's just amazing to see him fight. I mean, the flyweights are already fast, but Demetrius Johnson is the fastest of the lot, and it is beautiful to see him go at it.
Yes, Demetrius Johnson. As Joe Rogan says, if any young fighter has to, make himself like somebody, he has to make himself like Demetrius Johnson.
He's the best pound for pound.
Yes, as Joe Rogan puts it, but I have to disagree with that fact. I don't consider him the best pound for pound.
Neither would I actually, to be honest.
But he's really fast, he does everything precisely, he's got technique and everything.
What do you think Kyoji Horiguchi has got on top of him? Apart from the one punch knockout power, how do you think he wins?
Knockout.
One punch knockout?
Yeah, or not one punch knockout, or knockout.
Well, I think it's going to be hard for him to catch DJ.
Kyoji Horiguchi, I believe, is as fast, if not as fast, but almost as fast as DJ.
Well, that's the first fight, but here's the one I'm really, really excited about. We got Rampage Jackson back!
Okay, here's the thing. I'm kind of like, yeah, it's a nice, fun fight, but I do not consider it like a big deal. Fabio Maldonado is a great fighter.
He's going to kill him.
What? No, I believe this is going to be a fun fight, but it's Rampage Jackson is not going to come into title contention now.
Obviously, I don't think he even wants to go for it, but
I just want to see Rampage Jackson. It's come to that point. I just want to see Rampage Jackson
pick somebody up and throw him down on the ground and shout afterwards.
Knock him out, knock somebody out. And we got to see that a lot in a smaller organization, but a less known organization.
Pride.
Bellator.
He also did Pride.
No, recently. Pride. He was the young Rampage Jackson. Now he's a novelty fighter. You don't consider him a big deal. Fabio Maldonado is ranked 12th in the world.
And that does count for something. Fabio Maldonado is a pretty good fighter.
And I hope this doesn't end bad for Rampage Jackson, because Rampage Jackson is going to go against a boxer, a world-class boxer. That's what Fabio Maldonado is. In mixed martial arts, he's one of the best ranked top 15 fighter in the light heavyweight division. But in boxing, he's a champion, and this guy went toe to toe with Junior Dos Santos. Remember that?
Yeah,
he went toe to toe with Glover Teixeira.
That was a nasty fight.
Yeah, and he was all ready to go. His nose was broken, his cheekbone was broken.
The doctor had to pull him out.
Yeah.
He didn't want to stop fighting. So this is a very cutthroat fighter who Rampage is going to fight. But the old Rampage, the one we've seen glimpses of in a smaller organization recently, as you said, the old Rampage was really cutthroat.
But he was fighting not the primo fighters in the world. The UFC has the primo fighters in the world.
I say this obviously has some sort of, obviously the fact that Rampage Jackson is coming in, it has that sort of a value to this fight. But if Rampage Jackson can channel in the old Rampage Jackson to whatever degree he might want to, I would love to see what happens. That's going to be very entertaining in that case.
Yeah, that's what makes a fight. Rampage Jackson is a known name. For people who don't know this, Rampage Jackson comes out with this huge chain, and he's got this mouth guard, and he looks all nasty, and he goes, and then he will go, woo! He's a great entertainer.
See, if you remember, if you've seen 18, this is B.A. Baracus from 18. He did that role.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is that guy, and he really looks scary when he's in the cage and when he's
when he comes to fight, he's chewing on his mouthpiece. This is B.A. Baracus. As B.A. Baracus, he looks cuddly compared to what he really is. When Rampage is on, Rampage is on. On the third fight, we have Michael Bisping versus C.V. Dalloway, the 10th ranked middleweight in the world versus the 11th ranked middleweight in the world. This C.V. Dalloway has been on quite a tear, and then he lost. And Michael Bisping was on quite a tear until
he lost to Luke Rockhold.
Yeah, until Luke Rockhold's lanky head kick came out of nowhere.
And it was a beautiful kick that was.
Yeah, because Luke Rockhold is standing here and Michael Bisping is charging in. He does not know that the leg is coming at him. He didn't even see that.
Nobody saw that. I didn't see that. Now, I'm a hardcore Michael Bisping fan, but when that head kick landed and Bisping went down, I couldn't feel bad. That was a beautiful.
Horrible.
I felt horrible for Bisping. He's going to be in pain later, but I couldn't feel bad about it.
No, he was okay. I just felt horrible for Bisping because he was making a title run.
And he was looking pretty good too.
And he's got only a few years left until he gets that championship. Otherwise, in about 2 years, Michael Bisping wouldn't be in a title contention. The age is catching up to him. He had a broken retina at a point in time.
Yeah, he had a broken orbital socket, I think.
No, it was his disjointed retina.
Right. That made him lose a lot of fights in the middle there too.
No, he was out for a long time. Even in the Kunle fight, he was like one of his eyes was looking here, the other was looking weirdly over there. So it's like looking London, talking Tokyo.
Yeah.
And then he lands that 20 hit combo in a real fight, not just Street Fighter or something. This is real fighting. It's really hard to do that.
It's really hard to hit a moving target with 20 shots.
Who's actually trying to defend himself?
And hit you back.
Yeah.
This shit can go bad really fast. I mean, if you fuck up. But regardless, Michael Bisping versus CB Dollaway, I love this guy. Every time Bisping comes out to fight, you have this certain excitement going behind that fight because you never know what can happen. He's known for his Muay Thai, he's known for his knees, but he is an amazing. He's got cardio for ages. This guy can do 25 rounds. At least that's what he says himself. But regardless, he can at least do 10 rounds. I think.
Okay, who did I just got to know who CB Dollaway lost to. It was Lyoto Machida, the guy who Luke Rockhold just beat. Ooh,
this division is shaking up, ladies and gentlemen. We don't know what might happen here.
But I see it going Bisping way because that cardio and that relentless pace.
I think he's on point to become champion now, and he should. He should make that contention. He should run up the ladder.
I don't know whether he'll become a champion or not, but he will. I think he's got this fight. And one thing to note about Michael Bisping, he's never. It's been a while since he's lost 2 in a row. I don't think so. He's never lost 2 in a row.
I really don't know. You should check that out. I think he has. I think there was a brief stint after he came back where he lost 2 in a row.
I don't think so. It's always been. Look, he's never lost 2 in a row.
What do you know? He's right. He's never lost 2 in a row. Damn, I love this guy. This is an awesome dude. Michael Bisping is an awesome dude and a great fighter.
I don't think CB Dollaway is in the same league as Michael Bisping. But the journalists like to, calm down, underrate Michael Bisping. But
even Ariel Helwani likes to do that.
No, Ariel Helwani.
Sometimes he does, man. Sometimes he does.
Well,
you can't defend Ariel Helwani.
Okay, and Yves Jabouin is on the opening bout. Yves Jabouin is fighting Thomas Almeida. Yves Jabouin is a very good striker. I don't know what Thomas Almeida is. McDacey is going to fight Shane Campbell.
I don't know who these guys are.
Yeah, these are the new guys. Well, this card had a whole lot of other fights, but they kept on falling out.
This happens a lot with fights, by the way,
because
people get injured in training, people get injured in their camps, and things like those happen.
You know how they train? They fight each other. This is MMA.
How else do you think they're gonna train? I mean, honestly, we remember Brock Lesnar who was trying to lift weights when a wall dropped on him and he had to drop out of fighting. I mean, there you have that, and stuff like that keeps happening. It's really, you can't really say anything about it. So this is the card we're going to talk about the results of next time?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should call it.
Yeah. I'm sorry, people. Really bad at this thing because of this hay fever thing.
I think we went on for a fair amount of time, right?
Yeah, it's almost been an hour.
Yeah, so there you go.
Okay. All of our videos are on the website.
Yep.
What is it? Okay. So we'll see you next week.